is the 27th of October. I've been trying to wait for the tractors to start making noise before filming, but they're just not. So tractor noise in the background probably for the majority of this. Yeah, it is firmly autumn. There is lots of stuff dying back in the garden, everything is changing colour, there's just such beautiful oranges and yellows and golden browns, and I don't know if you can tell, that's kind of my favourite colour palette. So yeah, it's feeling really lovely. The mornings have been really misty, foggy, like very atmospheric, very autumnal air. So yeah, it's been really lovely to be able to experience the full changing of the seasons at home, and like seeing it gradually rather than coming back once in summer, once in autumn, and then just seeing like the drastic change. It's been really nice watching them gradually morphing, and yeah, it's lovely. So today, the long-awaited day of harvesting my pepper, which I have lovingly tended to since I was gifted a baby plant, which I received on the 17th of May, and it was a beautiful little plant from my friend Saren, who is very successful at growing peppers, and therefore I thought I had a good chance. This pepper plant was lovely, it came in the mail, it was very exciting, I wasn't expecting it, and with some other little trinkets, and I have tended to it lovingly ever since. It was my baby. I love it. I loved it. So today is the day I get to reap the the harvest of my efforts, my long laborious efforts of tending to a pepper plant. Yeah, let's go see how it looks. Before I show the pepper, I just wanted to show the progress of the raised bed. It has changed drastically. What was tomatoes is now garlics and shallots. So we have got two different varieties of garlic. Mostly are the pink Germain, and then I've got a couple of cloves from a big garlic I bought from the Isle of Wight garlic farm at Hampton Court, and then we've got one variety of shallots, and they've all come up, which is so exciting, and they grow so quickly. We planted these out on the 5th of October, and yeah, within a week they all sprouted, and they just keep growing every day, so they're looking really happy. So fingers crossed we get a whole heap of garlic whenever their time to harvest, which I think is sometime next summer maybe. I think they grow quite a while, but yeah, really excited about that. I've never grown garlic before, so maybe this is the one thing that will be super successful for me. Maybe it's garlics. We can only hope. Hello, here we are at the pepper plant. So, story time. This guy has gone through some stuff. I can't even remember when I put it in the ground. I definitely filmed it, so I'll look back and see when he actually got planted out. It was really late because the weather here has been so pants. The summer just was so non-existent in terms of warmth and sunlight, so it was really late getting into the ground because it was still really frosty at night, until like July, through July. So I was keeping him indoors. He was looking great, had a great time. Got him outside and yeah, basically kept getting eaten by slugs. However, I did get some flowers and those flowers got pollinated and I did end up with little peppers starting to grow, which was really exciting. And I would come out every day, I would take a photo of my pepper and watch it grow. I would get really excited about having peppers because we eat a lot of peppers here. The idea was that I would be able to provide some of the peppers that we eat rather than us having to buy them all the time. So like ambitious goal was maybe replace half of the bought peppers with homegrown. So yeah. But the overall goal that I would have been happy with was improving on last year's pitiful attempt, which was one tiny pepper about this big. So I wanted to double my harvest and I wanted an actual pepper, a pepper-sized pepper. And so I'd come out checking it every day. There would be new flowers, they'd get pollinated, I'd get little bulby balls, pepper balls growing. And then one day I came to check out on Pepper and the pepper had rotted and fallen and I was devastated. I was so upset I couldn't even bring myself to film. I was barely holding things together at that point in time. I was going through some stuff. I was really struggling, and seeing my pepper rotted on the soil was the last straw, and I just was so devastated. And yeah, so that was really upsetting. But there were still two more potential peppers. So I didn't lose hope. I was like, okay, one pepper down, that's not so bad. And then the other peppers were growing nicely, they looked fine, so there was still hope. And so the second pepper, which was growing really well, I came out one day to find there was a hole in it, just a hole. And I knew at that point it was probably not going to go very well, but I held on. I was like, maybe it can keep growing even though there's a hole in it. But basically something had gone through, burrowed through, whatever, I don't know what it was. And then it just rotted from the inside. It went all shrivelly and wrinkly and gross. So I had to cut that one off as well. But I still had one more pepper, one more attempt at a pepper, and this one looked good. It looked an actual pepper shape. It was looking promising. So without further ado, this is my pepper of 2024. Let's go. Ta-da! There it is. That's my pepper after how many months of lovingly tending to this plant, looking at it every day, mulching it, watering it. I even have other peppers on it. I don't understand what it's doing. Why are you making more now? It's the end of October. The main issue I had with this, I think, is the lack of sunlight and heat. Because even when this grew to a regular pepper shape, it just wasn't ripening. It took so long to get it to this red colour. But the plant itself looks so good, aside from all the holes. They weren't there a couple weeks ago. But the plant actually looks so good, and I can't believe I've got so many little peppers on here. Maybe I need to just keep this going. There's not enough sunlight though, so I don't know how I'm going to ripen them, because I hate green peppers. I need them to be red to eat them. But I haven't actually looked at it for a while, but there are way more peppers on here than there were before. Interesting. Anyway, the idea is I'm supposed to be removing it. Maybe I can pot it up and put it somewhere sunnier, because yeah, this spot is really shaded. That's basically as high as the sun gets now, and it's just blocked by all of this vegetation. This is what months of growing can get you. One weird looking pepper with a tiny slug trying to bury its way in. So yeah, you need to go. I googled this brown stuff. It's probably due to just irregular watering, and they're essentially like stretch marks, but the internet says this is still edible, so it doesn't look great, but I will give it a go. There is a tiny hole at the bottom though, so I am going to need to cut this open and see what it actually looks like inside. I might save some seeds if there are some seeds, because if this pepper grew, then perhaps seeds from this pepper will grow more hardy plants and I'll have a better chance next year. But this is the first ever pepper I have grown that looks like a pepper, more or less. Yay! I found it really hard to get the slug out of the hole. He was really wedged in there, but I finally managed to get rid of him, and I'm so glad. If I'd left it an extra day, he probably would have killed this whole pepper, so I'm very, very lucky I managed to get it in time. Even though I spent all this time repotting up the pepper with the intention of keeping it alive, spoiler alert, I did not. It was not successful. It was too late in the season. They grew too late. There was no way I was going to keep them over winter. I had nowhere warm enough to put them. They were full of slugs. Well, there it is. The result of 5 months of tending and loving a plant. Anyway, the mini greenhouse is gonna go down for the winter. We keep getting some quite gusty winds, so it's just gonna get knocked about a bit, and I'm not gonna grow anything in it anyway over the winter, so gonna take that down, pack it all up, and it'll come back out in the spring ready for more seedlings, which is exciting. I think overall I was very ambitious, considering I just moved back home. I'd moved in April, so I'd moved with seedlings. I sowed new seedlings shortly before I came back. I had huge ambitions, huge ambitions, and I think it was just too much. I tried to do too much all at once, and it was a little overwhelming. However, it was an experience and I enjoyed it for the most part. But I think next year I will be more selective of what I do. I will do things that I know I definitely can do, and I will prepare it a lot earlier as well. There was a lot of rushing this year to get stuff ready, and also, to be fair, the weather was not on our side. We had to wait a lot longer than normal to get stuff out, and I only had a few really nice days to actually do stuff in, so it felt like I was rushing, probably because I only had a very small amount of time to actually do stuff. If it was consistently good weather, I'd have had longer time to do everything rather than getting it all done in an afternoon or something when it was sunny. So yeah, I did a lot. I learned a lot. I got a pepper. But I think I need to research better crops to grow in changeable climates, wet climates, cold climates, and peppers I don't think are the one, unless we had a greenhouse, which we don't. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But for now, this is basically the last harvest of 2024. Yeah, until next year. We'll see what happens. I don't know what we'll grow next year. It's exciting though. There's a lot of potential, but I just need to be a bit more realistic. Anyways, yeah, I think that's it. Pepper out.